Hello guys, welcome to the Train Parrot. It's been a while that we haven't looked into Ethereum, and in today's video I'm gonna show you this particular chart where Ethereum is in the process of breaking out on the weekly time frame. I'll give you my take on this, some potential bullish and bearish targets if this breakout continues, but also if we saw a rejection, which is also plausible. I'm gonna show you how low it could fall if we were to enter in a bear market. We'll look as well into the Ethereum against BTC chart. Very interesting developments we are seeing in here, once again against this particular trend line, which has given us all the clues of where we are heading with Ethereum. And I know that you guys are quite interested in looking on Ethereum against Solana, particularly because Solana has been outperforming Ethereum. But is it the case that is going to continue for the remaining part of the bull market? We'll see. Guys, if you like this type of content, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I put out one of these videos, and it will be really amazing if we could get to 150 likes on this video. That will tell me that it's not just all about Bitcoin. Let's get into the content. What you're seeing here in the chart is the whole history of the price of Ethereum, starting from $0.6 to an all-time high of almost $5,000. In the lower end of the chart, we have the RSI, and you can see that it behaves as a descending channel constrained by the top trend line that has been already hit 2 times. On the lower end, we have the support trend line that has also been hit 2 times. Notice as well that the bottom trend line gets hit when we see the final capitulation on those bear markets. One of them is located in here, and the second one is located in 2022, almost 4 years later. When it comes to the tops of the RSI, we see one in here, and then we see one in 2021. Notice as well that when we reach the top of the channel is not the all-time high. It's only the first peak before the end of the bull market for Ethereum. In 2017, it made it to $63, and then the actual all-time high reaches $350 with a lower high on the RSI, which constitutes a very strong bearish divergence on the weekly time frame. If we go forward in time, we see a very similar pattern during 2021. The only difference is that the top of the market is a little bit more rounded compared to 2018, where a lot more like a blow off top, mimicking pretty much the behavior of Bitcoin during those particular cycles. What is not different is that in 2021, this high, even if it's the top of the RSI, on 2021, that is not necessarily the actual all-time high. At this point, the price was at $1,200, but the actual all-time high in price is at $4,700. And that happens when the RSI is already in the process of cooling off, interestingly. So now let's observe what has happened from the times when we were in the bear market in 2022 up until now. We had a breakout after a capitulation event. You can see how we reach an RSI of 26, slightly lower than 28, which is the capitulation of 2018. You might be wondering, why are you plotting this red bubble in here? Are you expecting a capitulation event for Ethereum that belongs to a bear market? Those levels of 28, 26, and around here, which is 24, following this trend of going 2 levels lower, only happens in the bear market in the worst capitulation. A couple of weeks ago, before I shared this chart for the first time on Telegram, was that for Ethereum to break below the support of the red line, it will have to enter into the territory of the capitulation of a bear market, and that will completely destroy the assumption that we are in a bull market, at least for Ethereum. And right after I made that post, which was shared for the first time on the 17th of September, I basically state that we should cross fingers that we hold RSI 38, the red dotted line in here, and we did a strong bounce challenging the white downward sloping trend line, with a potential to now head to the top of the channel instead of breaking below and triggering such a bearish scenario. We are now 1 week after, and you can see how the price has done what I was hoping to, bouncing from this final line in the sand. And if we zoom in closely, you can see how the candle that closed yesterday on Sunday closed right below resistance. This move that you can see with a small wick of the RSI, that is the candle in progress that started from Monday at midnight and that is pointing upwards. So we cannot say that we have a breakout. All we can say is that we bounce from support and we close below resistance. This particular week, we need the price to continue going higher to guarantee that we confirm an actual breakout. If the price of Ethereum was to get rejected in here, and with the price we did something like this, undoing the green candle that we have here, that on the RSI is going to look something like this. And even worse, if that one was to close below the red line, we are entering into very dangerous territory if that was the case, because that could get rejected there and then see a capitulation to levels of 24 on the RSI. If instead of that we went for the bullish scenario and we ended up pointing up possibly into RSI 49, that will be very bullish and will increase massively the likelihood that we make a full trip to the top of the range, potentially even reaching the green bubble. I want to know what will be the price of Ethereum if we were to do such a capitulation, and I also want to know what will be the price of Ethereum if we were able to reach that 85 RSI that is located at the top of the channel. And for that we are going to use today the reverse RSI. Let's focus just on the price now, and you can see that I have already prepared 85 and 25. If the price of Ethereum broke out and continue going to the top of the channel, it could make it up to $9,800. But if it enter bear market territory, which is this dotted trend line at a level of 38, that coincides with a price of $2,165. Going below that price will put the RSI below the red dotted line at the RSI of 38, increasing the chances that we could get to a price of Ethereum just below $1,000. That is pretty much how it will look, a bearish capitulation that only belongs to a bear market if it happened right now, which we are assuming is a bull market. Now let's look into Ethereum against BTC pair. I haven't looked into this chart in a long time, and I have to admit that we were in January extremely excited looking at this breakout, and after these two tests above the trend line, we were expecting to build a channel straight to the upside with a slope of 45 degrees like we can see here on the red. But instead of that, we couldn't manage to hold this level of final support, and we slide one level lower, touching the downwards sloping support in here, represented by this trend line with dotted yellow. It's incredible how accurate the three retests have been on the trend line. After touching it from below multiple times, then it has touched the trend line 1, 2, and last week we formed this pivot once again touching the trend line. And once we broke this white line in here, what we were saying is that we are going to come down in here and we are going to start forming the channel to the upside instead of following the red trajectory that was the initial plan that got completely screwed with the price action of July. We should be expecting now a channel to the upside, but shift one level lower, as you can see in the chart. In terms of price action of Ethereum against BTC, if we were to hold the 0.38, which has been so far the point of reversal, as you can see, we are now at 0.04170, and let's assume for just one moment that holds. If we were to continue to the upside, my target is to get somewhere around 0.064. And why is that? Well, I still have the hypothesis that with every cycle, Ethereum reaches the 50% Fibonacci level of the previous cycle. For example, in 2017, we did this high at 0.156 and a low of 0.0156. And if we place a Fibonacci around here, the 50% was precisely the highest level that we reached in 2021. I have placed a Fibonacci level from the top of 2021, adjusting it to touch the bottom, which is currently so far at 0.038, and that is taking us to 0.063 if you allow me to readjust that thanks to this new low that we print a few days ago. But if Ethereum was to break below the 0.38 against Bitcoin, then we will have to readjust this. So let's assume just for a moment that Bitcoin makes it to 100K. What will be the price of Ethereum if it reaches the 50% Fibonacci? That will take Ethereum to 6.3K. If Bitcoin was to get to 150K as the all-time high, that could take Ethereum into roughly 10K, which is very similar to the level that we were seeing at the top of the range with an RSI of 85. A very important and probably the most important takeaway from this video is if Ethereum in, let's say, next 6 months was to make it to an RSI of 85, there is very low likelihood that that level will be the all-time high. Let me explain why. If you remember earlier in the video, I was mentioning that every time that we touch the top of the range on the RSI, that is not the all-time high. That is just the highest level that the RSI reaches. But Ethereum, as you can see in here, and in here, can continue going higher, still printing bearish divergences that are formed every time the price puts a higher high, but at the same time getting a lower high on the RSI. So one thing that could happen to the price on Ethereum is that right after reaching 9K at 85 of RSI, that the starts bouncing back from it, putting new highs in this way, and then on these levels in here, getting the actual all-time high. That is just purely based on the past performance that we have seen before. And if that was the case, you could see Ethereum at higher prices than 10K. And last but not least, I want to see the chart of Sol against Ethereum, because months ago we were watching this chart in my video. Also, I presented this chart once in the Paul Barron channel. At that point, everybody was calling for a breakout of Solana against Ethereum, and I did a little bit of crying why I didn't flip some of my Ethereum into Solana, which has been one of the biggest winners so far during this bull market. And during those videos, I mentioned very clearly not breaking above 0.06 on Solana versus Ethereum valuation can push the price back into the support located at 0.05. Then, if it broke below 0.05, Solana could continue bleeding against Ethereum. And here is my thesis. One of the main reasons why Solana has been doing so great is because it's very cheap versus other alternatives to trade meme coins. Meme coins have been big winners in the past year. And one of the reasons that I speculate why Solana is doing good and the meme coins as well is because the altcoins have been doing horrible. This market has been extremely ugly for the altcoins. If the altcoins were to enter in an altcoin season, people will shift their attention from the meme coins back into other narratives, for example, AI and gaming. And if that was the case, maybe, possibly, by the lack of trading of meme coins, we could see some sideways or some bearish action of Solana against Ethereum, at least for a little while until the meme coins are back. And I'm not saying that Solana is only for meme coins, I'm just saying that most of the volume that we saw in this range in here came from meme coin trading. That doesn't mean that Solana is not useful for other narratives, but I will have to see what narrative can move that much Solana once again in the next upcoming months. In crypto, narratives tend to flip. People don't stay a full bull market with a single coin, a single layer one, or a single single layer too. Things get trendy, can make a lot of money for a bit, and then something else takes the place. And that's why I'm open for a potential for Ethereum to outperform for a while Solana. The invalidation point from that thesis is if we see Solana breaking above 0.06 into 65 or 70 and holding above this line that is calculated by the top that we have in 2021, then sure, absolutely, Solana can continue smashing Ethereum. But so far we have 3 rejections in here, we're pointing down, so I'm preparing a little bit for some cool off. Guys, I'm currently hosting a position airdrop on Bybit. You trade with $100 and they give you for free $500 additional to trade on any of the coins listed in this page. Make sure you have a look at the top link in the description, click on it to activate the promotion and to see the instructions. I also left you a link in the description to open a new account on Bybit to unlock up to 30,000 in rewards. With a Bybit account connected to my website, you can get a Trading Parrot subscription for free.